Hello, I'm Kevin Church, and this month for June 2023, our MUFIC Songwriter of the Month is Gene Butler. Hey, Gene, how are you?
Hi, Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So, we always want to introduce our artists to our audience and ask them, like, where they get their inspirations from. Like, where did they come from a musical family? Just where did it start?
Well, not really a musical family, but my mom would walk around the house when I was a little kid and she'd be singing. And she was an incredible singer. She could sing like Patsy Cline. And I just loved to sing. So I'd sing along with her and she'd be singing Dear John and that. And then, of course, my mom took us to church and I got into the church choir. And, I guess they let me in because I sang high soprano. I was about 6 years old.
Right.
A 6-year-old kid can scream pretty loud.
Yeah, they can. Okay, so you started off in church, you're 6 years old, high soprano, so you're getting exposed to developing your ear, if you will. When did you get into playing an instrument or anything like that?
Actually, playing an instrument, I was very old. I was 46 years old.
Can you tell us why that journey took so long for you to go from 6 to 46 to want to pick up an instrument?
I've talked about this with a great friend of mine. The Pittsburgh public school systems failed me miserably. I loved music. I mean, I could read music. I was very attentive. Teacher told me I was too small. I had very small hands. I was a little kid. And, I still have small hands. But the teacher told me my hands were too small to play a stringed instrument. I was too small to generate enough air for a horn. So I was never going to play a musical instrument. Well, that pretty much put the damper on that.
Oh, yeah.
And that, through my life, I've been writing poetry and stuff. And at 46 years old, I had a friend who had a master's in music education. And I was talking to him about I hear music in my poems that I write. And he says, "Can you sing a poem?" And I said, "Yeah." And I sang a poem. And he sat there and put music to my poem. And I says, "How did you do that?" And he talked me into buying a cheap instrument. And he taught me some chords and gave me probably about 6 months of lessons or something. And I practiced very hard at chord progressions and silly things like that.
How much did you practice, would you say?
I would strum my guitar everywhere I went, about probably 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And I really stayed at it. And my friend said to me, "Well, how much are you practicing?" And I said, "Well, 8 hours a day, And he says, "Jimi Hendrix practiced 8 hours a day." And I said, "Well, I'm no Jimi Hendrix, I'm going to tell you that." But, I strum my guitar, and my object was to try to learn as many traditional country songs as I could. And I just love traditional country music my whole life. I mean, that's what my family, we listened to WEEP radio up in Pittsburgh. That was the country station.
Right.
That was the fixed station in our house. So I mean, that's what we listened to, and I just fell in love with it. And I love it to this day. You go out to my vehicle, and you will see Wooley's Roadhouse on there.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this then: if your station was fixed on that channel at home, is that what channeled your poetry? Is that the kind of storytelling, or was it more introspective, or what got you writing? Like, what got you inspired?
Up until this point, I mean, in literature and stuff like that in school, the teacher actually taught how to write poetry. And I remember that. Her saying things like, "Rhyme is nice in poetry, but it doesn't have to rhyme all the time." And things like that, and it sticks with you. And I wrote poetry when I was wee little, and of course I know that music has a lot of poetry in it. Things seem to rhyme a little bit, and so I would do that, rhyme things in my poetry, and most of my songs have that rhyme to them, that rhyme ring.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, you'll get, off a word, I might say, but it goes right back into a rhyme on the next verse, and it just puts a little bend in it. And,
right.
Yeah.
So, with being inspired like by country singers and that music growing up and watching your mom, I'm sure that's your heart there. That, leads to where you are as a writer and performer. I'm sure because you do perform your songs out too.
I do.
So, and you like to bounce them off the audience to see what kind of
get a feel,
kind of response you're getting. So when you share your music, who do you want to share it with?
Well, I'll share it with anybody, actually. I sit out on my front porch, and I'll strum my guitar and I'll sing. People will be walking by. It doesn't matter.
Just strangers. You just try to get it out there, huh?
People that are visiting Folly Beach.
Okay.
I'll sing to them, and they'll wave to me and carry on. The audience at open mics and stuff like that. But I like to share it with my wife, and I have a brother-in-law that we live with.
Okay.
And I share it with him, and they're both really supportive. My wife is crazy supportive of everything I do when it comes to music.
That's awesome.
She's she'll tell me, you shouldn't, that sounds flat. or she'll say, that doesn't sound right, or it's too slow, or it's too fast.
Oh yeah.
Or you need to sing louder. Well, when you get to be my age, maybe you just can't sing louder. Turn up the microphone.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this then. So with you sharing to strangers, passersby, all these people, we hadn't really hit on this with other people, but you live on Folly Beach.
Yes.
So how inspiring is that to you as a writer? Like to live right there by the ocean.
I'll write songs about dolphins. Yes, I will.
Great.
Somebody said to me, I wasn't doing like playing out at all and I think it was maybe a little bit of nerves. And somebody said to me, well, you can stay at home and not be hurt. And I says, oh, I'm not taking that again ever. I took that when I was little.
Yeah, exactly.
And I went right home and I wrote a song. And the next week I was down there and said, can I play this song? And I did 2 John Prine songs and 1 of my own. And the next week I did 3 of my own. So.
That's great. So when it comes to your process of writing, how about words first, music, or music first and then lyric?
Early, when I was writing poetry, it was the words make music fit. Now that I can strum a chord progression, it's gotten different. Because now I can get a groove going in a chord progression, and wherever I'm at, if something hits me, I'm on go. And that's what it just seems to be. If I get like a hook, I feel like a hook's there. I can build around it, and it's almost magical. And that's the love for music. When it's almost magical and it comes together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good.
It's pretty cool.
And you can kind of get a feel for, I really like this.
It's magical when that happens.
Some of my early stuff I don't like so much.
Right.
But some of my later stuff I like a whole bunch.
Right. Well, you're just growing and and morphing into what you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, and I spoke with that with my brother-in-law. I said, he said to me, "Oh, you played that song we heard on the radio." He says, "Did you ever play that before?" He says, "I've never heard you play that before." And I says, "Well, I've never played it before." He says, "Well, how did you just start playing it?" And I'm like, "You just get to a point that you can do that." And it's beautiful because I could never do that before.
Right.
You know? And it's like, if I had to give up anything in my life, the last thing I'd give up would be my music. Yeah.
I hear that. We have a fan here.
Yes. He must have got a Taco Bell.
Chiquito. So what song are you going to do for us today? Like, what are we going to play on? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I wrote a song. It's called Rusty Cadillac.
He likes it.
Yes, yeah. And it's a fast moving song. It moves right up. And I was out on the front porch, and I was just strumming, just sunny day, sunny shiny day, and I was just drumming along, and I'm like, I want to go somewhere, with this, because I had a nice drum going. I said, I want to go somewhere, and I says, well, driving down the road, rusty Cadillac, bald tires, fenders flapping in the wind, and I says, oh, that's good, and I immediately liked it, that part. I immediately liked, and I says, I got to go with this. And it wasn't long. I mean, it was very quickly came together. And what can I say that somebody's going to identify with? And that's what I wanted to say. And I says, your father said he would disown you, but if he'd ever known you, he just might like who you are.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Now we're driving down the road in this old rusty car.
Very well done.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So we have Karen Egan with us today. She's going to play viola on it, and I think I'm going to play bass on this one. It'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, it'll be fun.
I'll cook a little song.
I'll absolutely love it.
Very cool. Well, we're glad to have you, Gene, and we're just glad to have you, and Taco's glad you're here, too. He's been making an appearance. So, So, guys, Gene Butler, everybody.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, man. Good to have you. Thank you so much. It's fine? Yeah, we got it. We're going to play it till we get it right. 1, 2, 3.
Driving down the road in a rusty Cadillac, all tires, fenders flapping in the wind. Going somewhere that we've never been. Your father said he'd disown you if he'd ever known you. He just might like who you are. And now we're driving down that road in this old rusty car. People seem to judge you, but if they'd only nudge you, you might go pretty far. But all they do is criticize, they can't even look you in the eyes no more. And now we're driving down the road in a rusty Cadillac, all tires, fenders flapping in the wind. Going somewhere that we've never been. Your father said he'd disown you if he'd ever known you. He just might like who you are. And now we're riding down that road in this old rusty car. rusty Cadillac, ball tires, fenders flapping in the wind. Going somewhere that we've never been. Your father said he'd disown you, but if he'd ever known you, he just might like who you are. And now we're driving down that road in this old rusty car. Oh yeah, we're driving down that road in this old rusty car.
MUFIC sets you free.